Hi, this is Melanie from Hook to the Left, and today we're going to take a look at what is in the April 2021 Crochet World Magazine. So let's go ahead and get started. Hello, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at what's available in this issue of the Crochet World Magazine. As you can tell from here, it is dedicated to spring, so that you're going to see a lot of springy type patterns. And then there is one article in here about learn to dye your yarn, and then one other interview article. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, when I look at these, I don't show you the whole magazine. I'm going to show you what patterns, the pictures of the patterns that are available. But since these patterns are not mine to give, I don't show you all of that. Now, before we get started, I do want to let you know that in this month's magazine, they do have patterns that range from beginner all the way up to moderately challenging. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you the difference between each one. Here it says the beginner, their definitions in this magazine, beginner level means projects for first-time crocheters using basic stitches with little or no shaping. Then the confident beginner is projects for new crocheters who are comfortable with the beginner basic stitches and are ready to combine them into short pattern sequences. Skills include simple increasing, decreasing, and minimal color changes. Then there is easy, and those are projects that use basic stitches, repetitive stitch patterns, simple color changes, and easy shaping and finishing. Simple in-the-round projects such as coasters, hot mats, flowers, hats, neck warmers, and cowls fall within this skill category, as well as the ability to read simple stitch charts and keys. Then there is intermediate, which means projects that incorporate a wide variety of stitch techniques beyond the basics, such as shells, fans, popcorns, clusters, post stitches, basic cables, lace, simple intarsia, shaping, and finishing. The crocheter has the ability to read more advanced stitch pattern charts, such as lace and cable charts. Final hardness level that will be included in this issue is moderately challenging, and that means projects that use a wide variety of stitches and techniques, such as those noted above, which are, from beginner all the way to intermediate. Techniques such as those noted above, as well as more detailed color work, shaping, construction, and finishing. So that is what we're going to get in this issue. And so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you these, and then we'll talk about the articles that they have. So on page 6, you get this wonderful blanket pattern. That blanket pattern is considered confident beginner. And it is the blanket finishes up to be 54 inches by 58 inches. Just under 5 feet. So I'd call it a good size throw. A good size throw. And it does require worsted weight yarn. And it looks like a total of 18 skeins. And it uses a 5.5 millimeter hook. And it does have a gauge. And I'm just going to give you a good picture, a close-up picture of the blanket and the texturing that's on it. Isn't that gorgeous? Beautiful, beautiful blanket there. So that is page 6. Okay, next up is page 8. And that is the track stitch shawl. The blanket, by the way, is called the Skyline blanket. But this is the page 8 is called the track stitch shawl. That is a confident beginner, and it finishes up 62 inches by 33 inches, and it requires DK weight, 4 balls, and a 6 millimeter crochet hook. So it looks like it's a very loose stitch. It's a nice spring shawl. This one you will need also locking stitch markers. So that is page 6. And to give you a little bit more detail on that one, that is what the shawl looks like. And the girl that's wearing it. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to page number 10. These are super cute. Look at that, the little banners. I love that. So that is an easy pattern. And the finished measurements, each pennant is 7 by 7 1/4, and all the joined pennants together are 60 inches long. You do need worsted weight yarn. For the pennants, there's about 26 yards each, and then 49 yards of assorted scrap colors for the little, like the flowers, the little appliques that are on the pennants. You will need a 5mm crochet hook. It does require a small amount of light blue embroidery floss and some clear acrylic teardrop beads. And two 1 1/8 inch diameter plastic rings, probably to put on the ends for hanging. And then 62-inch length 1/4 wide pink rickrack. Okay, so that is the beginner one. I really like this one. It's a nice Americana colors. I really love it. That one, page 11. Oh, and the pennants are called Think Spring Pennant. And then this right here on page 11 is called Heart of Home Dishcloth. It is an easy pattern. It is 7.5 inches by 8 inches. It uses worsted weight cotton yarn. And requires a 4mm hook. So number 12 is the Lacy Shells Tee. It is an easy pattern. They do include sizes from small to 3X. The bust size is 36 inches to 56 inches, depending on which size you make. The hip size is 36 inches to 56 inches. And the length is 22 inches to 23 inches. And it does note here, the tee is meant to have positive ease. I am not really sure what that means, but because I don't make that many garments, so if you want to enlighten me, I would love to know. But it does say tee is meant to have positive ease. It does call for a DK weight cotton yarn, and you are going to need 5 skeins for a small, up to 12 skeins for the 3X, and you will need a 4mm hook. Now here's a little detail on the tee. So you do need to have something to wear underneath it, as it is a pretty open tee. There. So next up is the cover pattern, which is this pillow. And it's actually a long pillow. I'm going to show you here because that's just a portion of the pillow that is showing, and it kind of makes you think it's a square pillow, and it isn't. It is a rectangle pillow. So let me just pull that up a little bit. I don't want to show you but the pattern, but there you go. So it's a rectangular pillow as opposed to a square pillow. So when I tell you what you need, that'll give you a better understanding as to why you need that amount. Okay, so this is considered an easy project. The finished measurements are 22 inches wide by 12.5 inches long. It is using that has a brand name. It's worsted weight wool yarn. And I don't know, I would probably want to go with a cotton over a wool, but wait, no, that's interesting. So it's got a particular brand. It says cotton medium worsted weight wool yarn. So I would say a worsted weight cotton yarn in solid colors is what you would need. And what they use is 3.5 ounces to 220 yards or 100 grams per skein. So just keep that in mind when you buy the cotton yarn. It is requiring 4 skeins of one color, 1 skein of another color, of each of the other colors that are in there. So that main color is going to require 4 skeins, and then 1 skein of every other color, it looks like. And then it also requires a 3.75mm crochet hook. Okay, and then that's that particular one. So it looks like you make it in pieces and sew it on as far as the flowers go. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This is a nice, light, airy looking blanket, and I'll show you a detail here of it in a little bit because this doesn't show you how light it really is. And I need to show you the detail of those little flowers right here that are hanging off the ends. Those are little flowers, so I'll show you that detail here shortly. But this is called the Blossoms and Lace Afghan, and it is considered an easy pattern. It ends up being 50 inches by 60 inches, 50 inches wide by 60 inches long, so it's a good size throw. It is requiring a sport weight acrylic slash polyamide slash mohair yarn. They have here that they're using Premier Yarns Chamonix. And the yarn that they are using has 3 ounces or 380 yards or 85 grams per ball. And again, that's a size 2 or fine weight yarn. You need 6 balls of the same color, and it is requiring a 5mm crochet hook. So here's the bigger picture of it. Kind of slide it through so you can get a good idea, and then I'm going to show you a detail picture. I'm going to show you the detail picture here. So you can see it's a mesh stitch, and then you have the flowers. So it's a real nice light spring throw. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to page number 20. And it looks like you make a nice little pot, like potted plants. So it's called the Pansy basket. And it is considered an intermediate pattern. Finished measurements are: the basket is 1.5 inches square by 3.5 inches to the top of the handle, and then the pansies are 1 1/4 inches in diameter, and the leaves are about 5/8 inch by 1 1/4 inches long. It does require a size 10 crochet cotton, 1 ball of the green, and then size 40 crochet cotton, and you want 1 ball each of the purple, light purple, snow white, and Christmas green. You're going to need a 1mm and a 1.65mm steel crochet hooks. You will need a heavy fabric stiffener, a hot glue gun, plastic wrap, floral wire, and plastic foam, and then a spice bottle or an item of that size to hold the handle in place to stiffen and shape the project. So that is the Pansy basket. Next up, which I really like, this one right here. It's called the Climbing Clematis. I may be mispronouncing that. Throw. It's called a throw. I was looking at that thinking it was a curtain, and I don't know if I'm saying that wrong, whatever that word is. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this is considered a moderately challenging project, and it ends up being 43 inches wide by 57 inches long. I honestly thought this was a curtain. Just the way that they have it displayed, it looks a little bit like a curtain, but it's not. It's a throw. And it does require worsted weight acrylic yarns, and what they're using has about 180 yards per skein. So this project ends up being 43 inches by 57 inches long. This project requires worsted weight acrylic yarn, which the yarn that they use has 180 yards in a skein. It does require, considering that it's 180 yards, so it requires 11 balls of the Snow White, 3 balls of the Spruce, 2 balls of the Royal Blue, and 1 ball of the Baby Blue. And it is also requiring a 5.5mm crochet hook and stitch markers. Okay, so next up we are going to take a look at this pillow. There we go, on page 24. And that is called the Four Corners Pillow. It is considered a moderately challenging piece of work. And it is 18 inches square. It does use size 10 crochet cotton. And the one that is 400 yards per ball in white, or 350 yards per ball in solid colors. They are requiring 3 balls of the white and 1 ball of aqua and 1 ball of peacock. You will need a 1.65 millimeter steel crochet hook and an 18-inch square pillow form, a large eye needle, and then spray starch, which that is optional, just to stiffen up the work. Okay, and next up is this on page 26, and that is considered the Wild Bloom Coaster, and it is considered an intermediate project. It does end up being 4 3/4 inches point to point, and it requires size 10 crochet cotton, like a lace weight, and 1 ball of azalea and 1 ball of spring green. And you will need a 1.65 millimeter steel crochet hook. And that is it for that. So next up are the placemats, which are really pretty. I love those springy placemats. This is considered an easy project. It does require a DK weight mercerized cotton yarn, and I probably mispronounced that. Mercerized? I think maybe it's mercerized. So a DK weight mercerized cotton yarn, and what they are using comes at 218 yards per skein. And you would need 4 skeins of the cool green, 1 skein each of the light olive, yellow, pumpkin, pink, and fuchsia for the flowers and the trim. And you also need a 4 millimeter crochet hook, or a tapestry needle, and 4 locking stitch markers. Okay, and those are really, really cute. I like those. Next up is this blanket. This is called a Tulip Fields Afghan. I'm sorry, the placemats, it's Flower Garden placemats. So I don't know if I told you that, but this Afghan here, this one on page 30, it's called Tulip Fields Afghan, and it looks like it's corner to corner squares. That's pretty cool, but it's considered an intermediate work. It's 46 inches by 57 inches long, and they use worsted weight acrylic yarn, and the skeins that they use come at 200 yards, or 100 grams per ball. It does require 10 balls of the white, 3 balls of the coral, and 3 balls of the pale greenhouse. And then you would also need a 6 millimeter hook for this project. Next up is page 32, and that is the Spring Flowers Hot Pad. This is considered an intermediate job, or intermediate project. It comes out to 9.5 inches square, and it does use cotton, a worsted weight cotton, and the product that they use came at 131 yards per skein. It does require 2 balls of the sage, 1 ball each of the Christmas green, the pastel blue, the carrot, the fuchsia, and sunflower. And it does require a 4 millimeter hook. And also a stitch marker. Okay, and this one does have a chart in here to show the colors. So I like that. They have the chart in there, the color chart. The next one is this gorgeous little Shawlette on page 34. This is considered an intermediate project. It does come out to a 60-inch wingspan, 35 inches at the widest point after blocking. And it is a super fine weight or fingering weight cotton merino polyamide product. And the product that they're using has 246 yards per skein, and it requires 4 skeins and a 3.75 millimeter crochet hook and blocking tools. And the next one for page 36 here, that one is called the Star Flowers Baby Blanket. Here it says it's approximately 36 inches by 40 inches, and it requires a medium worsted weight acrylic yarn, and the product that they're recommending comes at 186 yards per skein, and you require 3 skeins of white, 1 skein each of the red, coral, and yellow, and it requires a 6 millimeter hook. Alright, next up is this adorable pretty Posies Cardi on page 38. Now the instructions are given to fit a size 1 year, and you can also change it. They have instructions for a 2-year and a 4-year-old in here. Finished measurements are 21 3/4 inch up to 27 3/4 inch at the chest. It uses lightweight cotton rayon from bamboo yarn. They're specifically using Kobu, if you want to know, which comes at 232 yards per skein. You will need 3 skeins of the steel blue, 4 skeins if you're going to make a 4-year-old one, 1 skein each of the magenta and the grass green. And then you will also need a 4 millimeter crochet hook, as well as a 3.75 millimeter crochet hook, which is what is used on the appliques and border. And then you will need 1/2 inch buttons, at least 3. Alright, next up is this super adorable little pullover there on page 40. And that one, and I'm sorry, the pretty cardigan is considered an intermediate, and I don't know if I told you the Star Flowers Baby Blanket, that is considered easy. So this Cool Kids hoodie is considered intermediate. Instructions given to fit child size 1 year, and then they have also in brackets sizes for 2 years and 4 years. You will need a super fine weight fingering weight cotton yarn, and the cotton yarn that they were using comes at 186 yards, and you will need 3 balls if you're making the size 1, 4 balls if you're making the size 2, and 5 balls if you're making the size 4 of the main color. And then the secondary color, you would need 1 ball. You also need a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook, and again, that is an intermediate pattern. Alright, now we're down to our last 2 patterns. On page 44, this is the Baby Owl Teether, and finished product is 4.5, it's an easy project, and finished it is 4.5 inches wide by 7.5 inches long, including the ring. They use medium 4 or worsted weight cotton, 100% cotton, and they use balls that include 120 yards of the cotton. You need 1 ball of white, actually you need 1 ball of each color. It's telling me here. So that's the white, the jute, the yellow, the black, the blueberry, the rose, pink, and the hot green. And you will need a 6 millimeter hook, as well as a 6.5 millimeter hook. You will need a 4-inch square of crinkled plastic, which that's optional, and a 60 millimeter wooden ring, and of course stitch markers. And lastly, right here. This one is the Be Sweet Honeybee, and this is considered an easy project. And for this, you will need a medium or worsted weight yarn. It does come out to be 8 inches by 4 inches, but they use a worsted weight acrylic yarn, and this actually, they're using Super Saver yarn for this. So that's at 364 yards. So you need 1 skein each of white, 1 skein of black, and 1 skein of bright yellow. That's where the bright is. You'll need a 4mm crochet hook, some fiber fill. So this is a stuffed little wubby, and 1/4 inch black buttons. Although you can always, if you want to go with safety, you can always make the eyes with yarn, with the white yarn, like they did with the mouth there. And then you'll need stitch markers. And that is it as far as the patterns go. I do really like that in this particular issue they do have article on colorful cotton, dye your own yarn. So a whole article on dyeing your own yarn. I'm not gonna show you the whole article, but you know, this is the skeins, or I guess the hanks that they end up with. But they talk to you about how to dye some yarn, cotton yarn, on your own, which I love that. I know everybody's always interested in stuff like that. And then their other article, it's called In the World of Crochet, and it looks like it's an interview with a crochet artist. And actually, I love her dolls. Her name is Yolanda. It's the keepsake dolls of Yolanda Jordan. So she's got some of the cutest little dolls here. And let's show some here. Anyway, absolutely adorable. So so that is the second article, along with all of the patterns that you get in this issue. Just like last time, I have gotten 2 issues of this. So here's the wonderful news, is it actually came in. This is mine because it's a little bit more beat up and used, but this is the one I'm going to send out because it came in this month. It actually came in a plastic bag, so I don't have to cut this little section out. So you get the whole thing. This giveaway is open up worldwide. Now, just like last time, I want to know, what is your favorite pattern in this particular issue? For me, my favorite pattern is, what is my favorite pattern? I think it's that pillow. Yeah, the pillow with the flowers on it, or even the placemat. I think those 2 are my favorites. I really like those. And the pendants. I like the pendants too, right? You can't ever choose. Anyway, let me know what's your favorite, what you would be most anxious to try out, how to figure out to do, and put that in the comments down below. And this particular giveaway, you have until March 6th to enter. So just some rules I need to pass along here. This contest is void where prohibited. I do need you to be 18 or older to enter. Just make sure you answer the questions down below, and also read the rules in the description. And by entering this, you're really stating that you understand and abide by those rules that are mentioned in the description below. Also, this giveaway is not sponsored by Crochet World or YouTube. They are not responsible for anything that I am offering in this. My husband just this year got me 2 subscriptions to Crochet World accidentally, so I figured, let me share the love and give away my extra subscription each month. And go ahead and enter down below. Don't forget, this Saturday, I will be live on my channel at 11 a.m. And honestly, it's just a chat time. We don't always talk, well, we rarely talk about crochet. We talk a little bit about projects that we're doing and stuff like that, but it's really just to get to know the community better. So please feel free to join me at 11 a.m. this coming Saturday, and any other Saturday coming up, because I do this every Saturday at 11 a.m. Then at 5 p.m. We are going to be at Ginger's place this week. So join us at Ginger's and for our Yarn Hookers Live episode. I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button down below. So until I see you next time, I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. You guys have an amazing day. Bye-bye. But he's a sweet boy. He's a sweet boy. He's in his little pet bed that I made him. Aw, thanks, baby. Thank you. You're so sweet. You're so sweet. Grooming. Oh. He's over here grooming himself, and he's all over. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hi. He's being super sweet.